بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. أخيتكم بتحية الإسلام. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, all praises are due to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who had granted us the health and the strength, and it made it possible for us, inshallah, to put this platform together, inshallah, where we can take the opportunity in the comfort, of our homes or wherever we find ourselves in comfort and relaxed, I hope, inshallah, because I think this is just like a session in which you and I will find, that the more relaxed we are, we would actually really enjoy it. And please feel free, as you'll see that there will be a few challenges here and there in the beginning. It's going to be very, very comfortable and easy to go through, inshallah. But as we go along, it's going to, you and I will find that it's going to become a bit, I would say it's going to become necessary for us, to follow each and every lesson, and also to get an understanding of it. I think because you'll see that as soon as each and every one of us have our textbooks, we will find, that one lesson links into the other, And that is important for us, to I think to make that opportunity, but also importantly, as Yusuf also mentioned, that he will be recording every session, so it will be available also for us, to those of us who want to have a copy or if you want to share it, inshallah, by all means, I think we will be able to do that as well, inshallah. So I don't think it's going to be any, I would say, tough challenge for us, to actually stay connected. That's very, very important, because I think sometimes something urgent might come up, But inshallah, our intention is, to have the classes every Tuesday, inshallah, at this particular time, bi'idhnillah, as Allah Ta'ala so wishes for us, inshallah. And if we so have that sometimes there might be an obstacle or a challenge here and there, then obviously we as a group, we can get together, and then we can just, inshallah, just reschedule. And so, depending obviously on the availability of each and everyone, inshallah. Just before we start with the lesson, inshallah, I think I just also need to maybe mention to us, that many of us might think, what do I require, to actually embark on this particular project, because sometimes we sometimes think it can be quite a challenge, because sometimes we find that when you study any language, you find sometimes that sometimes the pronunciations becomes an issue, etc., etc. But I can assure us, that in classes that I have personally attended as a student as well, I found, people of a different denomination, that they actually excelled even sometimes better than us, as Muslim, being able to be, or those who are able to actually read the Quran. So the point that I want to bring over to us is that, inshallah, we will go through it, you will go at your own pace, inshallah, and we will obviously determine as we go along the pace that suits the class. Okay, we will obviously, we'll find some of us or some of the students might, be ahead of us. That's the reason why we prefer to use the textbook, so that the students who wants to move on can move on, and then but our class will still run at the same pace, as to what we said, so that inshallah, that we can all, benefit, inshallah. So I think it's important for us, not to, sometimes we find that, oh, I can actually like Quran listening and that, because we must remember the reading of the Quran has got its own laws, we refer to tajweed. Tajweed is a different, is based on different laws with regards to pronunciation, etc., etc. Whereas when it comes to the language we find, For example, I'll just take one example. For example, in Tajweed, if you read, for example, then there are some of the huruf that you must maybe jerk. Like, for example, when you say the word Subhanallah, you jerk the ba, Subhanallah. But when you speak the language, you don't do there's no qalqalas or whatever, meaning jerking of the whatever. What's important is that what we will have to work on within ourselves is the actual pronunciation of the certain huruf, meaning the letters, importantly from which place it should come. For example, we must be able to differentiate between a qaf and a kaf. We must be able to differentiate between a ta and a to, a shin and a sad, etc., etc. But that's very, very important as we're going to go along. But inshallah, with that couple of mouthfuls that I've shared with us, inshallah, I think we will now start on page number 1, which is obviously the page that Yusuf had presented to us here on the screen. And if everybody's okay, can I proceed, inshallah? Everybody will follow as what I will do, inshallah. I will read. And as we read there, inshallah, I will explain to us, and so we can go along, inshallah. I mean, so alhamdulillah, on lesson number 1, dars, ad-darsul awwal. Ad-darsul awwal, as you can see there, those of us that can maybe read a little bit of Arabic there, right in the corner on top there, ad-darsul awwal, which is on your, if you're facing the screen now, it's on your right-hand side. That's dars number, as you can see the English on the other side, like we call it the ma'naha. The ma'na means the meaning of it is lesson number 1. So what we will be doing is we will start with the first session of our now. I don't need to, I mean, there's people with very high degrees here, but just to give us an idea that a noun is obviously a name of something, it's important, a name of something, a name of a person, and a name of a certain thing, so that's important. So when we look at a noun, in Arabic, it's called an ism or al-ismu, as we can read there, al-ismu. And I would like us to sort of take note, especially in the manner in which, the actual word is sort of presented here. And you will see that they indicate to us, we call it the signs or the harakat. Harakat means that's the I, the A, the U, and all those signs that you see on top of the letters. What we will be doing is we will pronounce every harf with the letter. And it's important for us in Arabic, even though when what we are actually doing is we're doing nahu. Nahu means the grammar. Therefore, if you look at those of us who have the textbook, you'll see in the beginning there is al-khutuwatul awwalu fil qawa'id al-arabiyyah. Al-qawa'id means the grammar, the Arabic grammar. So here we are, because you might find that when you find the Arab speaking, or when we do conversational Arabic, as we're going to go along, inshallah, when we reach a certain level, we find, that they don't pronounce the last word. For example, if we look at our table that we have in front of us there, there's a word, for example, which is called waladun. If you look at, there's a table there, where we find there's Arabic, and then there's a boy, and kitabun, and a book. Now, we will find, for example, that when the Arab speaks, or when we speak the language, or people speak the language conversationally, they would say al-walad. They won't say waladun. But I would like us, for us, especially as students studying the grammar, it is important, that when we do the pronunciation, that we pronounce the word, with all the signs on top of it, inshallah. We're going to come to that part now of it. Let me start off by introducing us to the subject itself. As we say, our lesson is the noun, al-ism. And as we go further there, as we can read there, in Arabic, there are only 2 genders. Now, this is very, very, very important. When we look at the noun in Arabic, we find that there are 2 genders that you and I will firstly encounter when it comes to nouns. A noun is either, as we say, there we can see a masculine, mudhakkarun. See there, mudhakkarun. It's either masculine or mu'annathun, or mu'annath is feminine. So that's very, very important, that whenever you look at a noun, you should be able to identify whether the noun that you are actually looking at, whether it is masculine or feminine. That's important. Okay, so now our lesson, as you see in this lesson, we shall only deal with the nouns that are masculine. So there are certain signs which you will detect, indicating to you that the word or the noun is masculine. Okay, I hope if there's any questions, please indicate, and we can explain that. So fine, after that, now as you say, whatever we're going to do now in this chapter, lesson 1, we will find we are only going to deal with nouns which is masculine. Okay, so therefore we have our table in front of us there, as you can see on the screen. There it says there, al-kalimatu. Al-kalimatu means that's the Arabic word, and ma'naha, that is the meaning. We're not going to bother about all those Arabic terms. Don't worry about that. It is important that we find that in our lessons that will follow, there will be various words, like we call it in Arabic, kalimatun. Kalimat is words, jadid means new. So we say kalimatul jadid. We'll see on the next page that comes after this. On the next page, we'll see in every lesson, you student or we as students will be introduced to a few nouns, the names of things, which we in turn, inshallah, will have to try and memorize, and a method as to how to memorize it. Because these nouns, every lesson, 10 nouns or words that you will be actually introduced to, and as the chapters go on, these words will be regularly used, inshallah. Okay, righto. So let us just look at the important. We can even I'll read, and you can also read with, inshallah. It's the first one is waladun. Waladun, and the meaning of that is a boy. Very, very important. Take note. Waladun. Waladun with the un at the back. They see the dal has got an un on there, which we call a tanween. Now that waladun, that when you translate it, it translates into what is waladun. Then the student sometimes answers boy, but it's important to say when he sees waladun, it means a boy. Okay, because it's important. It is a boy, which is not a specific one. It refers to any boy. Then you see the word is kitabun. Okay, kitabun. We used to say kitab, but like we said, we will be pronouncing each and every vowel that is there. Every sound. Kitabun is a book. So after having looked at that, we can obviously see we're speaking here about masculine nouns. And if we look at the words waladun, meaning a boy, that is masculine, because a boy is obviously masculine. But now we say a book is also masculine. Now we need to ask, where are we gonna look how certain nouns or nouns are being termed, or categorized as masculine and feminine? It is beautifully explained to us here. Number one. Number one, in the block of waladun, it refers to a person, okay, and it's a boy, and obviously that is male. And the second noun, kitabun, refers to a thing. Now that is important for us to take note, because we find in Arabic, sometimes we call it, when it refers to a person, it is aqil. Aqil means something which has a mind. Aqil. And something which we refer to as a thing, we refer to ghayru aqil. Don't worry about that. I'm just using the terms as ghayru aqil means it is something that hasn't got an intellect. So something which has an intellect and something which hasn't got an intellect. That's important. So therefore, but there must be some indication for us, which gives us the indication that refer to a person or a non-person, which means an object or a thing. Okay, righto. Now we go further. Number 2, both nouns are indefinite. So that's something that we're learning. Indefinite. Indefinite means it does not refer to a specific boy. It refers to any boy. Okay, so it's a boy. Because you'll see in Arabic, we will refer to, where we find to, for example, boy and a boy. In this particular case, we're looking at a boy. And what is the indication of a boy? We can see here, because a boy, we would see, is because of the indication of waladun, meaning the dal at the back has got a un. And that indicates to us it is a boy. So kitabun as well at the back, it's got a un there, kitabun, so which means it refers to any book. And as we say, that is why we refer to it as indefinite. You know, they call it, we would say it's like definite and indefinite. In this particular case, as we can see, definite because it says a boy. So therefore, waladun means a boy and not the boy. And kitabun means a book and not the book. So which means we will come. So when we say the boy, then it refers to something which is definite, you know? So we call it nakira and ma'arifa. Ma'arifa means that which is known, and nakira which means that is unknown. So in our particular case here, we're looking at something, we're referring to something which is unknown, which means a boy, it can be any boy. And therefore we can see, importantly, as we say the word waladun, we'll see the indication of it as number 3 reads to us, the indefiniteness is indicated by the dommatain, which means that un at the back, you know, and that is the sign of the last letter of each word. Okay, so alhamdulillah, I will stop there up to there. Is there any questions with regards to the section that we have done so far? Any questions? Is everybody comfortable with it? Okay. Yusuf, can we maybe move further then?
Imam?
Yes. Yes, go for it.
There was a message that came through. If we switch off our video, then it's better because I sometimes lose you. So if everybody can switch off their videos and only put on the, then they'll be able to hear you better. Then there won't be so many disruptions in the voice.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Is the reception a bit bad? But now, if you switch off your video, would you then be able to see the screen you can still see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Maybe that can work, inshallah, you know?
Okay, shukran.
Okay, fine. But just on the question, is everybody comfortable so far as what we had done?
Alhamdulillah.
Yes, Imam. Alhamdulillah.
Okay, fine. So I think we can go on to we can then switch over to page number 2, Yusuf. Okay, fine. Alhamdulillah. So if we look at page number 2 now, before we go into page number 2, let us just confirm, the statements that we had made so that we can familiarize ourselves with what we are doing at the moment. At the moment, we are doing as number 1, we are doing nouns, and we are doing the noun which is a person, or it can be like we would refer to as a thing or an object, okay? And the important thing that we would just like to, 2 other points that we need to add to that before we go on with our exercises at the back, it is important that we know that when we look at the word waladun, we can see there is on the very last letter, importantly, you'll find that there is a tanween and un. And because of that, it refers to that the word itself is indefinite, which means you will now translate it as a boy. The similar in the situation with the kitabun, we can see the ba at the end has got un, which means now in terms of it being a kitab, it refers to a kitab or book. Okay, so that is so when we go further now, inshallah, we can now go to examples, and here it's going to be more for us to take note of the new words that we are going to be taught, and then the tamarin or meaning the exercises that will follow, inshallah. Okay, so therefore I think it's important for us to practice this. A moment for us to maybe just do the pronunciation to ourselves or those who are sitting with you, and then we can go on, inshallah. But important for us to know that all these nouns that we see here in front of us are all masculine. All masculine persons who are of masculine gender, right? Said that all nouns that we are going to do, nouns are all baytun, okay? Baytun, and that is a house. Remember, the at the back indicates you a house, okay? And that is when we say baytun. The second one is babun, okay? A door, babun. The third one is jidarun, okay? Jidarun, that is a wall. Number 4 is, the following one is darsun, and that is a lesson. The following one is kitabun, that is a book, the one that we have done. The following one is qalamun, and that is a pen. And the following one is maktabun, that is a desk. Okay, I'll just go through that. And here we can see these are all non-persons or things. These aren't the only masculine nouns, but just some examples as we go along, we will learn more, or we'll add more nouns. But these, as we say, it's all masculine, and we'll see there's a certain pattern, that follows on here. Okay, one is baytun, babun, jidarun, shari'un, darsun, kitabun, qalamun, maktabun. Now we come to persons. Obviously, abun is a father, akhun is a brother, ibnun is a son, waladun is a boy, rajulun is a man, muallimun is a teacher, tilmidhun is a pupil, and khadimun is a servant. Again, abun, father, akhun, a brother, ibnun, a son, waladun, a boy, rajulun, a man, muallimun, a teacher, tilmidhun, a pupil, khadimun, a servant. Alhamdulillah. So inshallah, I think, Yusuf, you can maybe open up for people to answer questions or to request, or to maybe ask certain questions before we will do the exercise, because I'll do the first exercise with us, and as we're going to go on with a further lesson, inshallah, we will do, like we call it, wajibul bayt. Wajibul bayt in Arabic, it refers to homework. Then we will there, because you'll see there all the exercises there. Exercise 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These are all, like we call, homework, just the revision on the lesson that we had done, inshallah. And as we go on, you'll find that the revisions, will include previous lessons, So inshallah, let us look at, just the final note before we go into the exercises. Note number 1, Group A refers to non-persons, and Group B refers to persons. Okay, that's right. Number 2, all the nouns are masculine. Very, very important. And we will see as we go along why or what else indicate to us that it is masculine. And then number 3, they are all indefinite, as is indicated by the Dommatain, meaning that un at the back. So when you, for example, see certain words even in the Quran, and there is, and it's maybe I would say a noun that you have maybe heard of now, and you will find out eventually other nouns, and then you see there's a un at the back, then automatically you will immediately identify it as a noun which is indefinite. But we will, as I say, we will go on to further studies where we will find different forms of the noun, with, indicating to specifics as well. So inshallah, let us relax a bit, because I don't know, I'm speaking alone. I don't hear any feedback, and I don't think it can be so clear to all of us, inshallah, because I can remember when we started off, there was many questions, So is there anything that you maybe want me to revise with us again before we carry on with the, like we call it tamreen or tamareen, meaning the exercises? Any response there, inshallah?
Omar, is Anwar here? Just a
Yes, Anwar. So it's okay.
We might probably still deal with it later on, but I was just wondering, is there an indication word itself that shows you whether a noun is masculine or feminine? Is there?
Noun, yes. Yeah, you see, a good question, Anwar. You see, because that's the reason why I issued us with 4 pages. Because you'll see your lesson number 3 of feminine nouns. And seeing that Dr. Anwar asked the question, can you allow me to just explain to us, quickly, even though we're going to go to that section. You see, most of the nouns, are identified by certain signs, obviously. The name of a person, like as we say, confirming to masculine, like as masculine, for example, boy, or etc., etc. Those are all masculine, and then as we had referred to, things, whatever, all being masculine, by a certain indication. But what will actually round it off beautifully for us is, like, you see, the important part is the nouns which are feminine. Okay, because remember we mentioned that there are 2 types of nouns. There are nouns which are masculine, and there are nouns which are feminine. Now, the reason why we're doing masculine nouns is because it's the most common ones. But when we look at the feminine nouns, the what we call it, the sign there is 2 things. Obviously, number 1, anything referring to a female, being a female's name, or anything indicating, feminineness, for example, sister, mother, aunt, etc., etc. But then you'll find any other word, that has a ta marbuta. They call it the ta marbuta, meaning the ta, or Arabic is ta marbuta, meaning the round ta, or ta uta'anith, meaning the ta with the 2 dots on top that looks like a ha. Now, that is the other sign, or that is the sign of feminineness. So any word that has that ends with the ta marbuta, the ta with or the ha ta, like we would say, or the ta uta'anith, that noun is, is referred to as a feminine noun. So with that understanding, you and I will see that, it is either feminine if it is like ends with a feminine ta, okay, I'll refer to it as that, or like as we say, anything referring to a female itself, indicating feminineness. Those are all feminine nouns, and masculine nouns is then anything that refers to males, as well as any noun that hasn't got a ta marbuta at the back. Does that make it clear, Tanwan? Hello?
Yes, shukran for the very good explanation. Shukran.
Alhamdulillah. Inshallah. So, like I say, with that, I think it would be better for us to understand that for us all as students first. And I think obviously when we're going to come to that, then which is the 3rd lesson, then we will actually, get a better understanding. But alhamdulillah, because then we'll do some exercises on that, inshallah. So, shukran then. Is there any other questions before we try and attempt to do the exercises as we go along?
Sheikh, just quickly,
Exercise
how
number
do,
one. Right.
Masha,
Tafadhal.
how do we know the
Tafadhal,
difference
Walid.
between a person and a thing from the word?
Okay, as we say, you know, when we find, for example, as I explained to Mr. Anwar also now, what we find is that nouns are classified only as masculine and feminine, right? As we had mentioned. And when it's obviously, when it refers to a person, then obviously it refers to something which indicates feminineness, like being a female or a male, right? Like, but now when it comes to things which are nouns, the indication of that is like any word or any noun, Marv, that ends with a ta, marbuta, the ta, you know, with the ha-ta, with the two dots on top. Any noun, for example, you'll find, for example, a car is called a sayyaratun. So a car, because it's sayyaratun, the that indicates, you know, that the car is as feminine. Then you find you must, when you need feminine form of it as well. For example, we read now in one of our examples here, we read here, mu'allimun, right? Mu'allimun in the person's column there, for example. Mu'allimun. Mu'allimun, that is a teacher, but it is a male teacher. But now when you need to refer to a female teacher, then as you see mu'allimun there, the meme, you now add a feminine ta to that, and it will become mu'allimatun. Are you with me? Mu'allimatun. So you add the ta, feminine ta, so which means the law on the nouns is that the sign is, it's either referring to a feminine as, you know, in person, or a thing is referred to as feminine when it has a ta marbuta at the back. Okay, and this is for us, just when it comes to singular, we're doing the singular, mean the singular nouns. We're going to come later in stages, there's different other things that also bring about feminineness, but you know, we're just doing this at a particular time. So does it make, does it give an indication, Walid? Walid?
Yeah, shukran, Sheikh.
Afwan. Okay, fine. Inshallah. Okay, so let us go to the first exercise, inshallah. I can't now ask the questions because I don't see you, but anyway, let us, I'll go through it with us and I'll do it, inshallah. And next week, you know, we can, when we have some homework, inshallah, then we can actually just get the class to interact, inshallah. But please try and interact with, you know, from your side also, you know, just to test yourself, because I think what can also help us a lot is, I think it's if you can maybe on your own, you know, it's just not a wajib for you to start practicing how to write the Arabic letters, but you're going to see it's going to make it much easier for you, because the reason why I'm saying so is that because as soon as you start writing letters, you find also that these words that you start writing it, you will eventually find that in your mind, you know that baytun is a ba, a ya, and a ta. You know, that's because the reason why I'm mentioning that is that as we're going to go along in the exercises and in the book, you're going to see they will now start taking away the harakat, meaning the signs. Because I'm sure many of you saw Arabic signs on it. You just, but you don't see how, you know, we will find that that is how we start memorizing the Arabic words, inshallah, you know. But like I say, we're just starting off now, and inshallah, after 2 months or 3 months, you'll find, you know, then it just flies off the tongue, you know, and from the heart, inshallah. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. So inshallah, number one, give the Arabic meanings for the following nouns. Okay. A pupil. Hello?
Tilmithun.
Tilmi,
Dun.
tilmi,
Dun.
dhun. Okay, tilmidhun, mashallah. Importantly, what I want to hear is the at the back, right? Tilmidhun. The next one, okay, can I call a person's name? Is it okay? Okay, a desk. Anybody? A desk?
Maktabun.
Maktabun, mashallah, mashallah.
Maktabun, ya.
A book. A book.
Kitabun.
Kitabun.
Taib, taib. Good, mashallah. Okay. A street. Sorry. A street, yeah. The answers are on top here, you know. But like I said, just
Shari'un.
want to hear the pronunciation.
Shari'u. Shari'u.
Shari'un.
Shari'un.
Shari'un. Very important. And a boy. A
Abu.
boy.
Walad.
Abu.
A boy.
Waladun.
Waladun.
Waladun. Father.
Son. Waladun. Waladun. Type. Okay, fine. So, Rido, as you can see, the exercise number 1, a pupil is a tilmidun. A desk is maktabun. A book is kitabun. A boy is waladun.
Waladun.
And a street is shari'un.
Shari'un.
Number 2, give the English meanings. Shari'un. Shari'un. Give the English meanings for the following nouns. Okay. So now we need to have the English translation for it. Qalamun.
Pen.
Qalamun is a pen. Important. A pen. Qalamun. And can you see important? It was a qaf, not a kaf, not qalamun. 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 Number 2, muallimun. Muallimun
A teacher, yeah.
is a teacher. Okay. Muallimun, a teacher.
Teacher.
Babun,
A door.
babun, a door. A door. Right now, darsun,
Listen.
darsun,
A listen.
a lesson. And the last one, rajulun. Darsun is a lesson, and rajulun,
Amen.
Amen.
amen. Okay, amen. Not amen, eh? Amen. Amen. Right. So we can see there, number 1, qalamun is a pen. Muallimun is a teacher. Babun is a door.
Door.
Darsun is a lesson. Rajulun is amen. Alhamdulillah. Right.
Amen.
Number 3, make the following nouns. This is beautiful. Make the following nouns indefinite by inserting the dommatain. You understand the question? Make the following nouns indefinite by inserting the dommatain, meaning the right? Dommatain. Righto. There they give you only bay. So how would you say, how would you make that indefinite?
Baytun.
Baytun, mashallah. So the ta becomes a Baytun.
Yeah.
The next one,
Ahun.
Akhun. See, so the kho gets a Akhun. Remember the last letter gets the double vowel, the
sound.
right? Jidar. Next one, number 3.
Jidarun.
Jidarun. Okay. Remember the must come on. The must come on. Jidarun. Righto. The next one, number 4.
Abun.
Abun. Right?
Abun.
The ba takes a abun. Okay. And the next one,
Ibnun.
Ibnun. Right? So you see, an important a sanya. is important for us to realize is that the last letter takes a un. Okay, the last letter takes a un all the time there. So baytun, the ta, akhun. Okay, jidarun and abun and ibnun. Okay, inshallah. Then the last one, separate the nouns which refer to. Okay, so you must say whether it is a person or whether it is a thing. So we can see here what the exercises are doing is you must try and memorize, you know, or familiarize yourself with the Arabic word and the meaning. You see, because you'll find that most of your exercises when you do the meaning of it, you know, which is, you know, what is the Arabic word or what is the translation of it important. Okay. Now, what is a tilmidun? Is that a person or is it a thing?
Person's pupil.
Pupil.
It's a person. Why do you say it's a person? Because why do you say it's a person?
It's a pupil.
What is a tilmidun?
Pupil.
Is a pupil, mashallah. The pupil, yeah. No, a pupil. No.
That's a person.
Number 2, shari'un. Shari'un.
Shari'un.
Person or thing?
A street. Thing. Yeah. A
So
thing.
a street is a thing. Okay.
The thing.
Righto. A thing, yeah. Maktabun.
Maktabun.
A desk. A thing. A desk.
A
A
thing.
desk, which is a
Thing.
A thing.
A thing.
righto. Waladun. Waladun.
Person.
Boy. A person.
A person. It's a boy, right? See, so you need to know it's a boy, then you can say it's a person, you know. And the last one, khadimun.
A person. A street.
A
Person.
person. Why? Because
Servant. Servant.
it is a,
Servant.
because it is a
Servant.
servant, mashallah.
Person.
Alhamdulillah, can we see? So you do your exercises, inshallah. So your homework, inshallah, you go over this again at home, inshallah, and then you can, from here, you can actually take it further, inshallah. Then exercise number 5, answer the following questions. Okay, this you know this is something that you obviously you need to memorize, and then obviously need to be able to practically put it into perspective. Number 1, how many genders is there in Arabic?
2.
How many genders are there in Arabic? 2.
2.
Which is which one?
Male and female.
What are they called?
Masculine and
Male
feminine.
and female. Ahsan. Right. Number 2, what are the Arabic terms for each gender? Feminine, and the Arabic terms, mudhakkar and mu'annath. Okay? Mudhakkar and mu'annath. It's not important that, but just like they ask the question, so with this mudhakkar, male, mu'annath, yeah. Mudhakkar, masculine, mu'annath, female. Righto? Righto. What indicates that a noun is indefinite? What indicates that a noun is indefinite?
The un sound.
Tomatin.
The un sound, mashallah. What indicates that a noun is indefinite? How would you know that a noun is indefinite?
The Dhammatain.
The Dhammatain at the back, meaning the last letter of the noun will have a un, right?
The un sound, yeah.
Number 4, does the masculine noun refer only to human beings?
No.
No.
Does the
No.
masculine noun refer only to human beings?
No.
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 Yes or no?
No.
No.
Why not?
Also non-person.
No, because you also find things
Things.
that are
Things,
regarded
yes.
as masculine. Yeah. Things, yeah. And number 5, give an example of a masculine noun that refers to an object. There is a big masculine, as you can see there.
Babun.
That you use.
Qalamun.
Waladun.
You know,
Babun.
Qalamun.
Darsun, there's a
Darsun,
Qalamun,
Kitabun.
Darsun, Babun, etc., etc. Alhamdulillah, I think that is our Maktabun, Amal Daikhutikisia. Alhamdulillah. So I think we have done lesson number 1. I think it was I can actually see obviously the pace that we need to go at. I think and this is very, very important. I don't want us to like I said, within yourself you can read further and do some exercises, whatever the case may be. But as the class will come on at our pace, So for us just to actually just explain as we go along, because obviously we'll see that important in Arabic as well as in even Quran reading, you find that what will actually improve your reading as well as what would also improve your understanding of the language itself is to actually do lots, like we call it, revision. In Arabic, they call it muraja'ah. So the more revision you do, the more comfortable you become, in pronunciation as well as also by trying to memorize certain words, inshallah. So alhamdulillah, I just wanted to know from us, I see the time is already, it's now almost 9 o'clock. The second lesson, is normally what we do together with lesson number 1, but I think it was maybe I would like to know from us, how was our understanding of the first session? Should we go on with lesson number 2, or should we leave that for next week, inshallah, so that we can first absorb, what we had gone through. Some of us, it might be their first time, others, and I think I feel this like that as a class we're going to move on together, inshallah. So maybe I think I've done, I'm done with my session, unless we want me to explain lesson number 2 as an introduction, or do we go on, inshallah, next week with lesson number 2, inshallah. I think we can maybe just open the lines, and hear what the response are, inshallah. And I feel as students, we need to I can say, we need to feel free, to share our thoughts and whatever, because that's actually, therefore, talib. A talib is somebody who talaba is somebody who searches for the answers, or he searches for understanding and that is why, in Arabic, we mean pupil as a tilmidun, but then a student is called a talibun, so we can see that is how they differentiate in Arabic, therefore sometimes we find it difficult to explain certain Arabic words, into any other type of language like English or Afrikaans, whatever the case may be. So inshallah, I think I feel that, I just would like to have some feedback from us, inshallah, as students, as to how did we find the session and how do we feel, the way forward, inshallah. Okay, shukran. Taisu, can we maybe just open up for the students to maybe make comments in Fatih?
Yeah, Imam, as the host, I can't actually unmute people. I can ask people to unmute themselves, yeah, but I think it's just everyone can just unmute themselves and obviously interact.
Can you maybe just unmute yourself, inshallah, yeah, as Yusuf mentions, and then maybe if there's something that you want to add before we maybe conclude, inshallah, tonight's session.
Can I just add something? It's Yusuf here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just wanted to, when we just ask the house, is there any facility where Imam can maybe, put, whether it's on a plastic or transparent, put Koki or pen to it? Why I'm asking this is, there's a lot of terminologies used with Arabic. I mean, I've learned, or I've tried to learn other languages, and Arabic is certainly not one of the easiest ones to learn. And especially a lot of the terminology used are, hello, can you hear?
Yes,
hello?
We can hear. Yeah.
Okay. And the point I was trying to make, a lot of when we talk about the ta marbuta, and we talk about the fathatain, there's a lot of tajweed terminology which not many of us have been fortunate to have acquired during our studies. I mean, that is for whatever reason. And sometimes it would have been easier if, you know, on a piece of paper or on a transparent or a board facility, you know, the and the ans, or the difference between the two tas, the ta marbuta and the basic ta, can just be shown. And I think for people who are at the basic stage of even reading the Quran or whatever, it might make a bit more sense. I don't know. I just wanted to ask the question.
No, shukran. No, I think no, I think that is something important that we can actually bring about, inshallah. You know, I think we can do that. We just need to find out from Yusuf if that's possible. Otherwise, what I can do is I can maybe draw up something and post it onto the Arabic chat as well, you know, giving us the differences between the Tamar Putas and that, but it will become more manageable for us soon as we see it, man. You know, it's just that the question that was asked at this, you know, was regarding to how do you actually determine something to be feminine, man? Because obviously the better, you know, it's better for us if we know what is a masculine and a feminine verb, you know, to be able to differentiate between the two, you know. And that's the reason why I brought about the ta marbuta. But inshallah, when we're going to come to lesson number 3, we'll see, you know, that is what the ta marbuta looks like, inshallah, you know. And then we will also then have the textbook where you can actually read it. But like I said, I can also explain the ta marbuta, which is the round ta, and you get the ta ta'anith, you know, which is the flat ta, you know. I can also do explanations like that if we prefer that as well. Yeah, but no, shukran for that.
Yeah, can I maybe just comment on that as well, you know?
Hold on, Yusuf.
Yeah, I think it is possible to be able to write, you know, on the screen. At the moment, I haven't actually visited Imam yet, you know. So I actually want to, I mean, Imam sent me photos of his device that he's working from, and it's pretty small at the moment, you know. So to be able to manage a whiteboard and also the other things as well. So I think ultimately Imam needs to actually be the host of this particular session, because the other thing also, you can actually point with your mouse, you know, on the screen as well, you know, and actually, you know, point what when you're actually talking about something, you actually point to what you're talking about. You know, at the moment, as the host, obviously, I'm the person that. So Imam at the moment can't share. He can't share his screen. Well, he can share his screen technically, but you know, the real estate on Imam's side is quite small. You know, so I think I spoke to Imam about potentially getting another monitor that he can plug into his notepad, for that matter, and then you know, then Imam can actually kind of drive the session as the host, and also the presenter, you know, pointing to certain aspects, and also like what I used to say about writing potentially on a whiteboard as well, certain things.
Yeah, just maybe from my side also.
No, inshallah, I think we need to go.
Just another to add to it. There are features in Zoom that you can use to what they call it, annotate the screen. I'm not just sure if you can save it like that, but if you go to the top of the screen, you will see the green thing you are viewing. For example, Yusuf on screen, and then next to it, view options. And if you click on that, you'll see there's annotate, which gives you kinds of you can personally use for yourself, and you can add things and highlight things and stuff like that. Only thing is, I'm not sure that is saved. I don't think so. So it's not permanent, but you can use it during the lesson. For example, I've made some scratches on it and stamps and things.
Yeah.
It might do, and then the rightmost button allows you to save that with your own notes. Just for if it's any help.
Also, shukran, Tanwar. Oh, yeah, Yusuf was writing there now. Okay.
Yeah, that's all that one, yeah. So I think once Imam, you know, gets his
Alhamdulillah.
set up on that side.
Any other? I don't hear any of the other. Sorry. Is there any other views or other suggestions or whatever? And the manner in which we conduct the class, how is it? How do we find, you know, is it easy to absorb, or is it challenging, or is there certain things that we can change? You know, as I say, this is the first time that we're actually doing it via this medium. You know, normally if it's in a class, then you can see on the students' response, or you can see by the lowering of the heads, or fiddling around, whatever, you know, when the students are actually, when the students are actually, you know, participating, or whether they, you know, and I'm sorry that I maybe need to just get some feedback from us, you know, but I know as we're going to go along, you know, first week, contributing freely and participating freely, you know, so therefore, as I say, bear with us, and whichever means that we can actually, because I think we got the proper experts on the whole panel, you know, and I think together we can put something, you know, bring something about, because we got IT specialists and we got whatever other professionals here, you know, there's so many, you know, so I think, you know, it's just that as soon as they can start interact with one another, they can put their minds together, then I think we'll have a perfect, you know, presentation, you know, at the end of the day, inshallah, you know. So alhamdulillah, if there's maybe anything else, you know, that you want to share before we can maybe conclude and so on.
Imam, I think under the circumstances, I think we're doing okay. Just maybe the first lesson, maybe we can just, I don't know, I speak for myself, to absorb all these things before we go on to the second lesson. I'd appreciate that. And alhamdulillah, I think I want to thank you also. It's a great initiative that we're doing. I think COVID-19 has sprung a lot of surprises in all our thinking in the new world order. So shukran for the opportunity here.
Alhamdulillah. I think what, you know, and therefore you know, as I say, we are all of us, we are very close with one another, and please feel free if there's any personal contact that you want to make with me, you know, and to just maybe, you know, discuss something with me personally, or, you know, whatever, please, you know, contact me, you know, as I say, I'm always available, and I'll make myself available, you know, because I think we have a week that we can work on this, but as I say to us, you know, try and go on your own, meaning read further and try and analyze things, and obviously you'll find then, you know, when we, because it's just that because we didn't have the book, that we couldn't really for example, go through the words, you know, and try and memorize the words. But from now on, inshallah, like you'll see the next session, which is lesson number 2, which most of you or everybody should have a copy, are the adjectives, you know, the adjectives. And obviously, we know an adjective describes a noun, and there you have different adjectives, you know, that you can add, you know. So look at that, read through that so long and whatever. Obviously, when we get together next week, I will in turn go through this with us, making a revision of lesson number 1 as well, because you'll see lesson number 1 and lesson number 2 comes together as one unit, and then you at least have some sort of picture or idea at what's going on. And inshallah, maybe through that can even maybe tackle lesson number 3 as well, you know. So inshallah, you know, I think shukran for I would say I say like, you know, when we came up with the proposal, you know, Tamani.
Nee, nothing, Imam, nothing.
No, it's just Yusuf was like.
As net die een is Imam wat ek wil net iets gesê het, hy wat die breaking up is nog altyd by my kante. Nou ek weet nog nie dat Ibn het weer sê explain die hoe moet jy maak om die breaking up weg te kry, want ek het baie breaking up. Ja.
Okay.
Yes, it was the same on my side also.
Ja, beter maar as almal van ons video's afsit en dan sal hy miskien help en almal
En dan myne is af.
En sy mute en
Mine is op.
Miskien help. Ek weet nie, ek sê dat kan miskien help.
Ek vra maar nou net, you know, maybe you can do something because I'm only muting, only speaking when I'm not muting.
Can it maybe be my side? So,
I don't know.
Can
think
it
you are
maybe
still
be
breaking
from
up.
my side? Could you hear me clearly?
No, I cannot
I said,
hear
could you hear
you
me
sometimes,
clearly when I
man.
explained?
You are
Sometimes it breaks
actually
up.
breaking up with my
Then we
imam.
need to maybe.
Yeah, Imam, you breaking up
Is that-
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all had that problem.
So
But
we
it's
must
fine,
maybe
ons kan
think how we
maar
can
aangaan so, maybe ons kan 'n ander plan maak, maar ons kan maar aangaan so, maar ek sê maar nou net.
But it's but like I say, I'm sure that you guys will come up with something where you know you will find out as to what is the reason for us, you know, because I know there's some meetings that we have attended and it never used to be like that. You know, I've sat in a couple of meetings and most of you, and I'm sure it comes through clear cut, man. So there's maybe something, maybe I don't know if I'm sitting too far from the east. Maybe my device that I use, you know, I'm using my tablet at the moment. Is that maybe we can maybe work on it when it comes to next week? But Yusuf is also the expert. He knows, you know, he would obviously guide us also then.
Kan help, Chef Omar. Is Yusuf Effendi as Telkom net vir 'n bandwidth kan gee.
I second Telkom must come to the party.
Telkom must come to the party. You hear that? Telkom must come to the party.
Yes, like it. Hulle vir my die spot nou is hoor.
Hulle sê so as kom van iemand se kant af. Ja, hy sê maar hoe kan ons Telkom help? I say, Imam must get the speakers right there, Imam.
Yusuf, what do you think, Yusuf?
Yeah, we can talk to Anna by
Mrs. Telkom say Imam must get his speakers right. He's sitting here at the back here, Imam. Giving chorus here.
Okay.
Yeah, I think maybe I mean, I also run other webinars as well. I've got one tomorrow, and I have normally about between 40 and 50 participants. Now, a lot of this is dependent on the infrastructure or the technology that you have available on your side, you know, on the presenter side. You know, even if all of us, we put our videos off and we mute our mics, it still won't solve the problem if it exists on your side, you know. So I think one needs to come and do a bit of investigation here at your place, you know, just to see what do you have, you know, installed there. Do you run on ADSL?
Okay. You see,
ADSL, what is
currently,
your
like I say,
line?
I've been normally when I do. You see, Yusuf, normally when I do my cell phone, you know, then I get clear. But now that I've moved over to the iPad, because to get the bigger screen, I think that's the reason why it's maybe doing that. But I'll see now. Otherwise, I must use a laptop or something like that. You know.
Daddy.
Otherwise, I must maybe go to a laptop.
Munib is saying something.
Just have a look at how much devices is connected at one time at home. If all of your TVs and Zaire and you're all on the same time, then it's going to interfere with the frequency that we're going to get.
Yeah.
You can't do a lesson, Arabic lesson and watch Netflix, eh?
Oh.
Yeah.
It's all. Okay. No, inshallah. No, I think we can actually do a study of that, inshallah. Yeah. But I think because, like I say, it's difficult to pick up, man. You know, but I can, when I get feedback from you people, then I can hear it breaking up. Therefore, I know, you know, something is wrong, man, you know. And I think we must maybe look at that no forward, inshallah, but very soon, you know, we must do it very soon, you know, because obviously here at home, as Manipus may be rightfully saying, I'm sitting here in the lounge, Mariam is in the room, and Zaire and Wasima is in their room, you know? So each one...
Mariam
our
is op
TVs,
Netflix,
everything
man.
is off. Assalamu alaikum, Yusuf. All our TVs is off at the moment.
Mariam, what is it?
We're giving the class all ears to the class.
Mariam, you just put it off now.
Pulling your leg back.
As Mariam was here, it's a Netflix, Mariam.
No, the TVs is off. I wish you can see I've got a video off, but
Pulling your leg,
the
Mariam.
TV is off.
That's what happens.
I think Buddha Yusuf Groenewald must go pay Imam a visit, Kanala.
Yes.
Yeah, I must make sure I take the Alcom guy with me.
Imam, I think your speaker frequency is too high. Mariam? Mariam.
Assalamu alaikum means how are
Walaikum
you?
salam. Alhamdulillah. Fa.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Imam,
Look at
Mariam,
the member.
your speaker volume is too high. Yeah. We had the same similar thing last week, yeah. Maybe
Yeah,
reach it forward, but
The other thing, Imam, is you can perhaps, use some earphones instead of, you're not using earphones at the moment, right?
Okay.
I think maybe, yeah, use some earphones.
inshallah. I didn't hear that, Yusuf.
No, I'm not saying that this is the solution to the problem, but using earphones is definitely going to increase the quality of the audio coming from your side as well.
Earphones.
Earphones,
yeah.
Because your mic is close to your mouth as well. The mic is normally obviously on the earphones, so it will be closer to your mouth as well.
Yeah. I think maybe, you see, I'm putting my device straight up, and I think maybe the mic section is maybe at the bottom of the device. And maybe it could be, that it was now flat on the table, Let me just see it quickly,
Yeah, we had Mariam, we had a similar problem last week with the senior manager.
Is it?
Yeah, and then
technician.
And use your Imam can use that wireless speakers headset, working perfect with the streaming.
Okay.
Is it?
Okay. Yeah.
No, okay, inshallah, no, but shukran for that, man. I think, we can consult on that, inshallah, but shukran for the advice. Yusuf, you're taking note of it, Yusuf?
No, it's being recorded, Imam, no worry, it's being recorded. It will be on the internet in a few minutes.
So then we can, but we can talk about it, inshallah, in the week or over the weekend, inshallah.
Inshallah,
Then maybe we can see how I can maybe make modifications on my side.
We have some homework.
But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, jazakumullah khairal jaza. Shukran very much for enjoyable session, inshallah. I think, I hope everybody, had benefit from it, inshallah. Antifa Isa, I didn't hear Antifa Isa. Is Antifa Isa okay? Antifa Isa there still? Antifa Isa left already?
No, Antifa Isa is still on.
Inshallah, no, but anyway, shukran very much, inshallah, na, Taizuf.
Shukran, assalamualaikum.
Okay, inshallah, have a nice evening, a nice rest, inshallah, and go through the words, inshallah. Next week, have those questions for Anna.
Inshallah.
Next week, have those questions for Anna, inshallah. Okay, shukran, Yusuf, inshallah, to everybody for your valuable input. I really appreciate it, man. Okay, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, wa alaikum salam.
What I didn't know you to